let me finish.
Okay, well, I thought I had, but go ahead.
Okay, y'all, let's take turns and let each other finish.
Welcome to Let Me Finish, the podcast where three minds give their unfiltered and sometimes unpopular opinions on all the craziness going on in our lives and in this world. We're your hosts, Jillian,
Janice.
And Michael.
Settle in and let's take a deep dive. All right, y'all, welcome back. This is episode 72 of Let Me Finish. I'm your host, Jillian.
And I'm Janice. Boop, boop, boop.
Now we're down one host, Michael. He had some family coming into town, so he's entertaining. They haven't seen each other in a while, so he's enjoying that. So we're gonna power through without him.
No, I think it's great though.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's been.
So I'm excited for him.
Yeah, it's been a few years. He said that he hasn't seen this relative, so really happy for him. I think he'll
be back in like 2 weeks. So
2 weeks.
Not this Wednesday, not this coming Wednesday. Sorry. Not this Wednesday or the next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to call this edition Sister.
Yes, exactly.
Sister.
Oh, yes. So we're having an all
Anytime
sister.
it's us.
Yeah, it's an all sister episode this week and next week. Let's just go ahead and jump right in and talk about our weeks. Janice, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I think I told everybody I was having a surgery. So I've been down and out and healing from that. So I've been pretty good. I've literally been taking it easy. I've been catching up on a lot of shows. I catched up on Grey's Anatomy.
Yes.
I forget every single time I watch that show, I forget how much I enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And it's like one of those shows that doesn't matter where you left off. Once you jump back in, it's still just as good. I mean, Jillian stopped watching it
years ago.
Shit. I mean, it's on season 21. So for context, I think Derek died in season 11 or so, and that's when you said you stopped watching.
When I sporadically watched before Derek passed away, but once I was done.
I mean, to be fair, like when Derek died, and I wasn't even caught up when he died. So when he died, I was like, oh hell no, I'm done with this show. Mm-hmm. And then when I went, I was like, oh my God. It took me forever to like go and watch that episode too. Like I was so scared to watch it. It's devastating.
It's funny because
they built the whole show around their relationship at that point.
Yeah, because there's very few shows that have that many seasons. I think the only other show that's been running longer is Law and Order SVU, which I think they're on season 26 or something.
But I think what's it called? Like, it wasn't ER the same way. Maybe those doctor shows just go a really long time.
I think it's any kind of show where they can plug in different characters can come and go, and it's still.
But it's still the same. It's still Meredith Grey. Like it's still
the premise. But if Meredith Meredith left, I think it could still survive with the storyline for a little bit with the other doctors. So.
Oh, that was only 15 seasons for ER, so still not even as much.
No, yeah, because I think with Law and Order, I think the only consistent person has been the main character, which is Mariska Hargitay's character, Olivia Benson. And she's the only character I think has been there. The only time that she hasn't been in any episodes is when she was on maternity leave when she had her baby. But other than that, she's the workhorse.
Well, Ellen Pompeo or something?
Ellen Pompeo.
Okay, yeah. Her she did leave the series for I think half a season. But not even. They said literally had a whole entire episode dedicated to her and saying goodbye, and then she was back in she's in this season, let's just say that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's I think with ER the original cast, they all left and they had doctors come in, replace them. I think the only one was, if anybody remembers, Noah Wiley's character, John Carter. I think
that's what happened.
Was the only one that was consistent. I think he left for a season or two.
I think that's what it is. It'll keep going on as long as there's one or two main characters from the original.
Yeah.
And I think if they lose the people that basically Miranda and Dr. Weber, if they lose them and Meredith Grey, it'll be hard to. But I do think they're investing you in a lot of other characters, and I am invested now because they had a whole new intern group, 2 new intern groups, and I'm invested in those characters now. So but Arizona, Callie, April, Jackson, all those people are gone. So I mean, whatever. And then so like I said, I've been just watching a lot of TV, so that's mostly what I've been doing. And I just got into Real Housewives of Potomac.
Oh yeah, you do love your reality.
Yeah, like, so I just started watching, and I do think for me, Real Housewives of Potomac kind of falls more in line with like me, like more the bougie black girl
Yeah.
life. Like even Atlanta is a little just not as me as I think Potomac. Even though I don't think I'm as bougie as those women, but I do like it. I'm like that's what I want.
So Potomac, that's DC, right?
It's right next to DC. I think it's close, but it's like not DC. It's in Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
Washington. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
That, and then I watched this one show. Sorry, I'm just gonna talk about shows. It's called First Wives Club with Jill Scott, and it's on Netflix. And I think it came out in like 2020, and it's definitely done. It had 3 seasons, but I watched that. That was a really, really, really good show.
Oh, really?
I did really enjoy that show, and I was yeah. Jill Scott, First Wives Club. Check it out.
Check
Netflix.
it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
But other than that, just healing, honey.
Just healing.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Me and Janice actually have been watching this because when she was recovering, actually spent about a week and a half at her house while she was recovering, kind of helping her through that. And they started the new show Agatha All Along.
Oh yeah.
So we're 4 episodes in right now. And those have been
Really good.
really good.
And I wasn't super excited for. I mean, I wanted to see it, but I wasn't like as excited as Jillian.
Yeah,
But
and so
I enjoy it now.
I've really enjoyed it. It's going along really well. I think the pacing is well for me, and I feel like okay. I like where this is going. I'm not sure how it's going to end, so it's not predictable per se.
It's intrigued me.
It's intrigued me. Is there a couple things like little Easter eggs that they're dropping, and you're like, I wonder where they're going with this. So I like that. I don't like it when it's super obvious. Well, you can pick up some foreshadowing, but where it actually goes, it'd be interesting to see how they land it. We'll see how that goes. And I think season 2 of Daryl Dixon started.
Yeah, I'm waiting to watch that with my friend Ashley.
Okay, yeah. The first episode started on the 29th. So it was only.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, I've watched it.
Is it good so far?
It's good so far.
Has Carol come back yet?
So the episode centers around Carol's character.
Okay.
It's
like the Book of Carol.
Yeah. So season 2 is Book of Carol. I'm sorry, it's been a while since this first season of Daryl Dixon came out, and it's already on Netflix. So in the first season, Daryl actually somehow ends up in Paris, France.
Yeah, I still don't
And
understand
so they're like, okay, where have you been?
How do you go from Atlanta to Paris?
Boat.
But even so, that's a long boat ride.
That's a very long boat ride. Yes, it's a couple weeks. So
it's a little like far fetched, but hey,
yeah. So Carol, she's figured out that he's in France, and she's trying to figure out how to get to him and find him. And I like it because they had a retrospective on the show prior to the new episode starting, where they discuss their friendship, how both their characters developed through the entire, was it 10, 11, 12, how many seasons of Walking Dead there was?
11, yeah.
And seeing them not only develop as characters that in Daryl's character, or Norman Reedus' character Daryl, wasn't even in the original comic books that the show is based off of. And
they have a lot way to.
And Carol's character, and Carol's character, she actually died very quickly in the comic books, so she's not a factor in the comic books at all. And to see, because of their strong performances as actors, to see their characters be able to get more screen time, develop and grow and become really fan favorites, it's been really interesting to see that. So I'm really enjoying that.
I guess Maggie and Negan aren't getting another season, huh? I hated it, so.
Yes, they are getting another season.
They did? Oh my!
Yes.
I just hated that season. I don't know if I wasn't invested at the time and I need to go back and rewatch it or what, but I think was not a fan. It was so predictable. That was a predictable thing.
It was predictable.
It was like same thing. Her son. It's all centered around her son and trying to find him and Negan helping her.
I think it was a weird thing to lump Negan and Maggie together. it's just, I don't think that was a smart move for them to do. I think for me, they should actually, honestly, Maggie's character altogether, I didn't miss her when she was gone from Walking Dead. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, sadly, I feel like when Glenn died, she became almost irrelevant to me.
Yes.
So.
Yes, absolutely, because her sister died.
Except for the anger she had toward Negan, which is probably why they put them together, because that's the only, like, factor she has left.
Yeah. But I think Negan's character was interesting for me throughout the show. But when she left, I'm just like, huh, okay. I wasn't.
I did love Maggie.
I did love Maggie, and I think the reason why I loved Maggie was her relationship with Glenn, and even with Glenn, even though when Glenn died, what interested me in both Glenn and Maggie was that romantic relationship. So when the romantic relationship is not there anymore, it's just like, huh. I didn't see them bringing anything else to the table.
Yeah, she doesn't have much more to her. And I think, I don't know, and this is a spoiler alert, so just if you've not watched The Walking Dead and you're watching it, don't keep listening or skip this part. But I think it was really, really, really stupid for them to kill off Jesus as quickly as they did. Because if there was going to be anything that would be like a Maggie continuation, it would have been the part with Jesus.
Yeah.
I hate that they killed him.
Yeah, and
he was such a great character.
With Jesus, it didn't even have to be a romantic relationship with Maggie, just their friendship.
He was a gay man, so no, I wouldn't say just their friendship and the relationship that they developed and how they would it was just like that other relationship, that person that she needed besides Glenn, and it would have been to me, Jesus, and then they killed Tara.
Yeah,
they killed what's that girl's name? The one that liked Carl. I forget her name. Edith. They killed Edith. I was like, so there's really nobody for Maggie to
glom onto.
Yeah,
and have
there's no story with her. I mean, Rick and Michonne, Carol and Daryl, Maggie and Negan.
Negan. Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right.
Silly. It was silly. If you wanted her to continue on, it was silly.
Yeah.
So that's our show recaps. Right?
Yeah, that's our show recaps. And then the other thing is I started a new book, Behind Her Eyes.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I started the book.
Girl.
And so I'm starting that. It's a slow start. I've just started.
It is a very slow start. But girl, once it gets going, you're like, what?
Yeah, so it's a slow start. So right now they're pretty much just establishing the characters and their backstories right now. So once that's completed and hit the ground running, I've enjoyed it so far. And then of course what I look forward to is being able to watch it on Netflix and see the characters come to life. What I imagined in my mind.
Yes, it's a show on Netflix that came out
to show it come to life. I do enjoy that. Yeah,
2021 maybe it came out.
Yeah, so I've done that.
Cool story.
And then I was reading Jurassic Park, but I didn't get to finish it before I had to return it back to the library. And unfortunately, there's people waiting, so I have to wait to check it back out again.
Jurassic Park, the story that everybody already knows. So is the storyline completely different?
So it's the characters are pretty much the same. There's a couple extra characters. There's a couple characters in the movie that had very small roles that have been expanded in the movie. In the book. And so it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, there's stuff that happened prior to how the movie started. You get some additional context as far as how they developed the island and came up with the technology and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens.
Wow.
So I've been doing that. So that's been exciting. So, and then I did finish the Children of Blood and Bone. Enjoyed it. It was nice. I'm not in a rush to read book 2. So that
on which book?
Children of Blood and Bone.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
No, it's not. It's not horrible. It is. I say Hunger Games meets Harry Potter. I guess I could say there's some magical elements to it, but it's kind of a dystopian land, and it is set in Africa. So it was nice, but it was just like, okay, the way it did end a tiny bit of a cliffhanger. But I've not been like, oh, I have to hurry up and check out book 2. So I'll probably.
Well, then that means I feel like if that's the case, it's not a good book.
It's not. I wasn't super excited. Like I remember reading the Hunger Games and like
when I like Twilight, like I had to like like I think if I finish it like at 10 o'clock at night, I had to go find some fucking all night bookstore to go and get the book.
So that's
I need it now.
That's what happened with Hunger Games with me, and with Hunger Games, like I checked out the book from the library, and instant when I closed the book, I'm like, I need to go get.
You have to get the other book.
Immediately, I'm just like, I literally returned my book to the library, went immediately to Target and bought the box set where book 2 and 3 was included. So I bought 1, 2, and 3.
I would say and I think 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight was like that for me.
50 Shades of Grey, same thing. Also, I immediately needed the second and the third book, and for me, I book 2 and 3 devoured those.
I mean, I was in college when I read Twilight, and it was an obsession.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Like, I don't know what it is about those books. It's so good. Anyways.
Yeah. So there's that. So we'll see what happens, but I don't know. So if you guys have any book suggestions or show suggestions or movie suggestions.
I mean, we're all about all of those. I think Michael too. Like, we all love reading. Michael doesn't like to watch a lot of TV, but he loves movies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give us suggestions because I know, spoiler alert, I have to have another surgery. So I am going to definitely be going and needing some new recommendations for more shows and more books. So whenever you guys have a moment, comment on our page, on Instagram, on TikTok, email us, whatever. But I'd like to hear from you guys about it for sure.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
It was about 5 minutes ago when I seen the hottest chick that a youngin' never seen before. I say, yo, tell the girl I'm gonna meet her. On second thought, that ain't the way to go. I gotta give her game proper, spit it so she get it. There she is, I gotta stop her. Or should I talk about a smile? Said before, or what about a smile?
All right, guys, so we're back. I like that song. It's been a minute since I heard it for sure.
All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and jump in and talk about P. Diddy and his indictment. The feds got him finally. I think we've been discussing his situation for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
Or it's been a hot
building
minute.
case.
Yeah, I think since last year, honestly, when Cassie filed her lawsuit against him, he like immediately settled. Like he was just like
I think we did an episode. Was the episode with Michael or with Stacey?
It was with Stacey,
okay.
And I remember it was last year around right before we took our winter break that we discussed it. And
yeah, he settled it so quick. So we were like, he's guilty.
He's
like
guilty.
Nobody settles that quickly unless they know there's some truth to it and they don't want it to more and more to come out.
Yeah, and I think he settled it because he knew the video of him beating her at the hotel. I think
But he denied that so quickly. He denied like any wrongdoing publicly, and then the video came out.
Then the video came out, and then he had his apology. I was wrong. I've grown. Whatever. Yeah, his lip service that he paid, where he's not changed as a person. So he's been arrested. So we know a couple months ago his Miami home was raided. And so we knew that the feds were closing in on him. He actually, from what I've heard through the news, is that he knew and he was preparing for this arrest. I believe that in preparation for the arrest, he did go ahead and paid off his mortgage on one of his homes, and also was in the market to sell his private jet.
So what does that mean? Like, if he's paid off the mortgage, that's officially his? They can't seize it or what?
So it's not that they can't seize it. I don't know what he plans on doing. Maybe it's so that he has more of a cash flow as far as I don't know what
have a lot of cash flow after you just spend a lot of money.
I don't know. Maybe it's cash, or maybe he plans on deeding it to someone else. I don't know. or maybe he can.
That's what I was like. I don't know why he would have done that.
Or so that he can put up the home as collateral for bail. I don't know what his motivation was for, which doesn't really matter because he's had 2 hearings for bail and it's been denied by the judge
twice.
And
he offered what, $50 million?
He did. He offered $50 million for bail. He offered to do GPS monitoring, selling his private jet, limiting his visitors, including having no female visitors that were non-family members to his home, and actually was going to give up his passport, not only his, but also his 5 of his relatives. Their passports are also going to be given up as well. And I believe his mom's house is going to be put up as collateral. And I think one of his, because I don't know this girl's name, one of his baby mamas, her property was going to be put up as
So do you think that him putting all this stuff up and saying, this is what I'll do, so you think that if they gave him bail, he would flee?
That's not for me to determine. Like if he was
I'm
monitoring.
asking, what do you think your opinion is? Do you think he would flee?
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't think it's an issue of him fleeing. I think for the prosecution, I believe the argument they was making, they're afraid if he's free on bail, that would allow him to possibly intimidate possible witnesses, because I believe that one witness he had called over 50 times.
Pretty sure he
trying to intimidate this particular witness. I think that's what they're trying to limit his communication. Not only
didn't he make preparations to flee before he got arrested? Like, didn't they say he was like trying to travel or get out of the country?
So I believe. So he did travel he was traveling whenever they did the raid on his Miami home. But I believe that since then, since he knew the arrest was upcoming, he already had a lawyer. And so anytime he did leave or travel somewhere, he made the prosecutors aware as far as why he was leaving, where he was going, when he would be back. He did make them aware. So I don't think it's specifically because if you do GPS monitoring and do the conditions, I don't think that's what it is. I think really what they're trying to do is limit his ability to contact possible victims. I think because that's whenever I went and
he
actually
probably is an intimidating presence. So I feel like people probably would not feel safe if he was out.
So yeah, and I think that's a part of it too, because I think a part of why, and then I actually went through and read the indictment from the feds, and one of the big things was intimidation and coercion. That is a big part of how he was able to get away with everything that he's done for so long, is through intimidation and coercion. And so I feel like he will use those same practices to be able to get people to maybe back down and not want to testify anymore, and maybe get an NDA, pay people off and things like that. Because they're trying to do forfeiture on property, money. They're trying to completely block his ability to do that.
Well, let's talk about the raid, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, the funniest part for me in the raid was how many bottles of baby oil? So
when they raided it, it came out that he had 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube at the home.
Why do you need 1,000 bottles of it? How much sex are you having?
He doesn't want to run out, Janice.
Like, damn. Like,
so this
100 bottles would have been a lot.
So this shows you. I think that just shows you. I think this shows you that this is something that's on his mind all the time. This is all he wants to do. That's what it comes off to me.
Girl, then those memes be too much with the people. Like, they'd be like cops sliding all up and down his house. I'm like, y'all be killing them with on the internet jokes. I'm like, dang, y'all.
It's too much, especially when you know the context of what's going on. I think it is a bit too much. And
the memes?
Also, I think it's too much.
You think it's in poor taste?
I think it is, because you know what's going on.
I laugh. You don't laugh?
No, I don't think we're at a time where it can be funny. Maybe
you don't laugh.
No,
I
try not to.
Girl, you know you laugh with the
I try
boy.
not to. I think I think it's humor done in poor taste, but I'm not saying that I can't laugh.
I mean,
or won't laugh.
sure. I mean, probably, but I definitely have laughed on quite a bit of stuff, so I can't.
Yeah. So
I can't say I haven't.
just to show another thing that they found when they searched his home was he did have 3 AK-15s. AR-15. I'm not AK. AR-15s.
I don't understand why we need these automatic rifles. I don't understand it.
So this is in Miami. So Florida, I believe, is a permitless carry state. So he didn't need a permit to carry those anyways. But he did say that those belong not to him, but to his private security. And they did have the drum magazines, which, allows them to shoot a larger amount of bullets if they have the drum magazines, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So just to go over real quick.
Do you think that's like acceptable since he is such a high level celebrity and there probably are more threats?
I don't. Here's the thing. He is not President Biden. So those weapons maybe a president of the United States.
But not even.
You would see, okay, yeah, you may need that kind of protection. Nobody's coming after you like that. I understand private security.
I mean, all the shit he does, though, because that's the thing. I think with Diddy, it's more, it's definitely the sexual assaults and the trafficking, but I also think he's a little bit of a murderer. I mean,
honestly, I think the reason he had those guns, I don't think their purpose was for his own personal protection. I think it's his way of the intimidation and the coercion. I think that's a part of
that's my thing with
that.
Hollywood. Like, I feel like with Hollywood, there's this superiority complex that they have, and then they just live above the law, and I don't like that. That's the part about the Hollywood I just don't care for. I don't like that above the law feeling that they get, because then they do shit that is just gross and just
Here's the thing. I don't think it's a Hollywood thing. I think it's a money thing. I think when you have the money, you feel like... So when
I say Hollywood, I mean high profile.
Yeah. I think because with money being high profile comes power, and they that's how they choose to exercise their power.
Right. And I think that's what I hate about it.
Yeah.
Because I do think even the things that he's doing and what he's been implicated in, I think it happens so often, like more often than any of us can even imagine, with people you would never think of.
I don't think this. Here's the thing. I don't think Diddy is surprised. I'm not surprised by Diddy.
I'm not surprised. No,
because we've discussed this before.
Right. I'm not surprised. I mean, his white parties have been going on for years. They've been talked about for years. And when it gets dark and, when people start losing their clothes and stuff that people doing in corners, and it's just turned into this huge orgy. I've heard that for years.
Yeah.
And with Hollywood, it's kind of like, I think that happens all the time. It's just like a rite of passage almost. And you have to figure out if you won't even be in those spaces. But I think it's just what Hollywood is made up of at this time. And I think that's why a lot of child celebrities and child stars have been so messed up, because they've seen those things way too early.
Yeah. I also think that I don't think it's like I said, when it comes to a Hollywood thing, I think these are just bad people. I don't think being in Hollywood, I think if they were working a 9-to-5 job, they may not have been able to do it on the same scale, but I could see Diddy doing those things if he never left Brooklyn.
I agree with that. I mean, not to the same level, but I do think once you get to a certain level of power, there's a piece of you that feels like, no, there is no limit.
Yeah.
There is no limit. And at that point, I don't even feel like they try to hide it that much. I really don't.
No, I don't.
I feel like somebody in our situation, it would be more hidden. It would be more secretive that you're doing those things. I think in Hollywood, it's like, yeah, I do it. What's up?
It's a known secret. Yeah.
100%. And so that's the part that I'm like, oh, it's so corrupt.
And I think I've discussed this before on the podcast before, where I feel like the signs were always there, but it was presented to us as entertainment. So I've discussed this. This is where I felt my guilty pleasure of when we talked about, when I talked about
the Jersey Shore, but I don't think that was.
No, it was because I did also allude to making the band, like the way he treated, with Diddy. I saw it as entertainment, and I didn't clock that. And I feel like I've matured now, because that was many, many years ago, 2 decades ago that was going on, where I'm able to see, hey, that stuff isn't funny anymore. When you go back and watch, I'm like, man, this was something that, that was made fun of, and skits were made, and you're thinking.
That's true. What is that one girl, that choreographer that he worked with?
Lorianne Gibson.
Yeah, Lorianne was not having it. She wasn't. She was not having it.
Somebody did point out that one time they actually
and he did blackball her.
What happened with her was he threatened to hit her with a chair. She called the police on him, and they actually stopped production, stopped recording, and she actually called the police on them and wanted him arrested. And she stood up for herself. And the thing is that how could the powers that to be at MTV saw that, had multiple witnesses to this assault or threat of an assault, and said, hey, we can't do business with you, but they continue to push out more shows.
Because it makes for good TV, and producers want to produce a good show. That's really their end goal. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. I mean, that's just how it is. Like, I mean, even because you really have to think about with reality TV, and as much as I love it, and I do, they create a narrative. Sometimes the narrative that they create is a toxic one, and sometimes it isn't as toxic as it was. Like, even like the way they edit stuff and edit people and make people villains and things like that. They purposely go in there and do bad edits on people. So I think with Hollywood, or with production and producing, why they continue to do it is because it makes for good TV. Because we do watch it,
and we do
consume it in large. I mean, I do. So I can't. Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting here watching Real Housewives of Potomac, and I'm watching it, and they're reading each other to filth, and I'm eating it up.
Yeah.
I do eat it up.
Definitely made Andy Cohen very rich.
Yeah. So. And I'm like, really, and the crazy part is, I would say the Real Housewives of Potomac, those women, the way that they read each other is how I would read somebody. Like, it's very like, oh my gosh, you're disgusting. Oh, I can't believe you. It's like almost an insult to your intelligence. Like, that's what I will go for if I want to really hurt you.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to go for the jugular. Like, go to, like, you're literally not even worth this.
Yeah. So, I mean,
you're beneath me.
So do you think when we watch these reality shows, I think it's art imitating life. I think the shows are a reflection of who we are as a society.
No, because I don't think The Real Housewives is scripted, and that's why I go. But they edit you a certain way, like so I watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's not a scripted show. You can tell it's not scripted because it's not. I don't feel like it's scripted. Okay, so I can't say for sure. I know for sure, but I don't feel like it's scripted. And I feel like they edit people a certain way, but at the same time, you can't be edited unless you said it. So there's a part of me that's like, maybe if it happened to me, I'd have a different viewpoint of it.
Here's the thing, because they don't have control. I think sometimes they may set them up, especially in the confessionals, because you don't know what the producers are asking them to prompt certain responses.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, exactly.
So
they put this interview comment in a place where it was completely out of context.
Right.
So your editing is completely. It is somewhat fabricated.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you can't. If somebody's sweet as pie, you can't edit them to look like an asshole.
Correct. Yes,
you know
I understand that. So it's so when it comes to reality TV show, like when we talk about Real Housewives, so you look at Teresa from Real Housewives in New Jersey when she's flipping the table.
Like, that's you, girl.
That's her. That's 100% her.
And then they probably, once you do something like that, anytime you even get mad, they're gonna literally zoom in on that.
Yeah, and they're gonna
and make it bigger.
And also think that once you realize, okay, this viral moment that you had, this is what's bringing people in. This is what's bringing people in.
We need to do more of that.
And so they put them in a situation to allow that behavior to come back out, and maybe don't don't do this.
To the point with Diddy, like, I do think they edited him to look a certain way, like an asshole, but he is an asshole.
Right.
For sure. But I'm sure they definitely highlighted his assholeness for sure.
Yeah.
So overall, yeah, I think Diddy is he's an asshole. I think it's the power that's made him so much of an asshole.
But I think with Diddy, I don't even think we were showing the full picture of him. We saw bits and pieces because when Aubrey O'Day goes and says XYZ, this is what's really going on. Hey, that stuff, when they fired all of us, a lot of other things were happening. XYZ, this is what's really going on behind the scenes. So I think we only get we only get a glimpse.
When I watch reality TV, I always do try to take it with a grain, because I'm like, there's probably more to that. I always think that, like even like when these ladies are fighting, I'm like, there's probably more to them fighting than just one situation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I do think that way. I don't know. I just love reality TV. So I feel like with Diddy, he's been on reality TV, but he hasn't been on it for a very long time.
So he did Making the Band, and he's done other things, like he's been. MTV with his, music career, BET, 106 and Park.
His music career. I always think it's funny people say he had a music career. I'm like, did he?
He did.
As a producer?
He wrote
definitely not as a rapper.
He definitely wrote he's the kind of person that, I'm not saying he can't rap. He's just not the best rapper. And for him, most of his songs.
Rapper, I think. Horrible.
I think most of his songs are really... from all the songs I remember, they all featured other artists.
Exactly what I'm saying. He's not his own brand.
Solo brand artist.
But then, like, his brand is making other people hot.
Yeah, because I think, honestly, as far as talent, his talent is in producing. Because he knows really
it is
great
It is
party tracks.
And he knows talent, and he knows what sounds good, what people will like. He's talented in that
He knows
sense.
what somebody's going to get up and, from Shake Your Tail Feather to even the remix of Honey with Mariah Carey.
That was good.
Just like...
even Bump.
Yeah.
B2K, that was pretty hot.
Him and Mace and all the songs they did together.
There you go. Let's dive into that.
What?
Because now I want to dive into like his friendships in Hollywood, and because obviously he's arrested, right?
Yeah.
It's a big deal. We're all hearing that there's names coming, right?
Yeah.
But and you can speak to that. They're keeping the documents or things closed in this case.
So
or sealed.
As they're keeping the discovery material sealed. I don't know if it's maybe he wants to do a deal. So the two big names, or at least one big name that keeps coming up, is Jay-Z.
Okay. That's what I want to talk about.
Okay, so what do you think?
So from what so I actually was talking to a coworker at work, and I was saying like, "Oh, Jay, what do you think about Jay-Z?" She's like, "I didn't even know they hung out or they were friends I was like, yeah, like they were like really, really close at some point. I don't know how close they are now, especially with him having all these legal issues. I'm pretty sure if I was Jay-Z, I'd try to start distancing myself.
Here's the thing. I think they have been distancing themselves, because I think for them, what kept them close is that they're both that New York area rappers
and producers.
But I think with Jay-Z, he has, when's the last time he came out with an album? I think he's more on his business grind right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even though
his mogul life,
even though I think Diddy has been on his mogul grind for a hot minute too.
I feel like that's all Diddy is a mogul.
Yeah. Between his music company, Bad Boy Records, he had his clothing line, I think has been shuttered. That was shuttered years ago.
What was it?
Ciroc.
I do love me some Ciroc.
So
it is
that
nice
was his thing, and I think his
what was his clothing line?
Sean John.
Oh yeah, Sean John. Oh gosh,
Sean John.
That was hot for a second.
Yeah, it was hot for a second. And then he had a restaurant in Atlanta, Justin's. I don't know if it's open or not.
He's like one of the richest rappers out there. So
it's not. And I think that,
isn't he a billionaire? No. Is he
don't know if he's at billionaire status, but I think with Jay-Z, he's been on his mogul grind, and so I think he's had different focus as far as what's going on at the white parties. If he participated in all the torrid stuff that happened, I'm not sure. I don't know.
I'm scared.
And then
really that list.
Yeah,
it's almost like the Jeffrey Epstein list. Like, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, and also I think Leo. Someone pointed out
Neo.
Leonardo DiCaprio. So somebody did pull up a video where someone asked him what's his favorite person to party with, and he said Leonardo DiCaprio. But Neo, the singer, has also, his name has been brought up as well.
Okay, but his wife apparently,
whose wife?
Neo's,
went
on some type of social media platform, and she was just like, yeah, you and Mini P Diddy, why don't you go and tell him you a little mini Diddy. And then I guess like a couple days later she apologized and said that she shouldn't have put their business out there like that. So I'm like,
So I don't know if we got to put that with a grain of salt, because it's the ex-wife or the current wife, because I don't
even know. That was what my coworker told me.
The ex-wife, I think their breakup wasn't he cheated on her, had a side chick, and it's a lot.
I think it was his current wife, though. I do think it was his current wife.
All right.
But then in my head I'm thinking,
aren't they getting a divorce though?
But in my head I'm thinking, like, any person that knows this was all going down or even close, I'm like kind of like, well, you're kind of a what's the word where you're like an accomplice. You're almost an accomplice.
Here's the thing. If you're not in a position of power, sometimes I feel like, oh, you're an accomplice in the sense of, okay, do you know what this person had over them? Sometimes people participate not willingly. And so it's going to have to be something that people take case by case as far as each person, as far as, is there intimidation,
Like, I do think Jay-Z is going to be a big one. I think he very much knew everything that was going on. I think I heard Beyonce's, gearing up to leave him, but we'll see.
Honestly, I think also just because if you know something's going on, but you're not a victim, are you 100% required to intervene?
Sexual assault? I think so. If I know somebody's being sexually assaulted, I think it is my responsibility to speak up.
Okay.
If I know, let's say I know my neighbor is sexually assaulting women, and I do nothing. Is that a moral failing on your part? Maybe you don't feel comfortable, or maybe you feel like, I do feel like it's a moral thing. Like, it's a moral thing, but also I think people also go in self-preservation mode, and I think for a lot of people is like, people not only think about the person being affected, they also think, how will this affect my life? And some people aren't willing to gamble with their security and safety and comfort for others. And it's not everyone wants to be a hero. Especially like in a Diddy, because there is the level of power, and you know that they can definitely come for you. So it is like you are putting yourself in danger. But not everyone, like I said, not everybody wants to be a hero. Like in the R. Kelly situation, all those people and nobody spoke up. Like, I think that's crazy. I think that's horrible. Like, are you the person committing the assault? No. Should you be in trouble? Maybe not. But it depends on how far involved you are in it too. Here's the thing. Like, just because because I might know what's happening and not say anything, but if I'm like a willing participant and maybe I'm not actually the one doing the assault, but I'm sitting here watching it, I don't know. I think there's also that bystander effect, feeling like innocent bystander, because there's that bystander effect where, you could have a crime happening right in front of you, and if there's a group of people, there is this natural instinct thinking someone else is going to help. And if everyone thinking someone else is going to help, no one ends up helping. Like, if you just saw somebody, you were driving by and you saw somebody getting robbed, you wouldn't feel like it was like your duty to report it? No. Not 100%, because I'm going to factor in my own safety into that. Damn, I think that's why people, it's not, I just don't think it's a moral failing if you fail to intercede. It's kind of like that saying, like with politics, like, what is that thing where it's like, nobody was there to, it kept happening to people and you were silent, and then they came for me. It's kind of like that. Yeah, I do. And but I also think, like I said, in the moment, you may be like,
you may have a hard time processing what's going on as well. And it may
Sure.
take you time to process. And then at the end of the day, if I go and report this, do you have any proof? You get questioned.
Yeah, so
you like, what were you doing at the party? It's almost like
Okay.
you, as someone who's reporting, is then going to be questioned as a suspect versus someone who's coming forward reporting a crime. I think people have that fear as well.
They do protect you in those situations in the law. So I do think there are safe holds for that. But I'm like, if you're in the room, that's what I'm saying. Because do you feel like you're innocent because you didn't go get the girls and you didn't actually give them the drugs, and but you definitely participated in passing them around? I mean, yeah, it's just as bad.
Yeah, I think if you participate in the unlawful acts, I think you have some moral obligation to be like, no, I'm not doing this, even if it could cost you your job.
But I do think a lot of those people on his list are people that would be like, well, I mean, I didn't do all that. I just came into the party and that was what was offered.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's, man, this world is just so messed up, honey.
Yeah, it is.
And it's like, after Jeffrey Epstein and now Diddy, it's just like, that is just the person that probably was organizing everything. There was a lot of participants, including, I bet the same people that were going to Diddy parties are the same people that were visiting Epstein Island.
We'll see.
I bet. I mean, they said they were not going to see the list. So I saw some fake list, and it literally had everybody you can think of in Hollywood, including Obama.
Yeah, it's a fake list.
That's what I'm like. Ooh, that's kind of disturbing. But the chances of it, I'm like, it's not impossible. I hope it's impossible for Obama, but it's not.
we don't know because really, honestly, until somebody in the media will probably file a Freedom of Information Act. And
there's been so many people in Hollywood that come out and say like this person and this person, and I'm like, so, and I believe them. I do believe them.
yeah,
So
we'll see what happens.
Even Wendy Williams, she clocked a lot of it.
She actually came out. She was pretty much like, she came out and she's like, about damn time.
Yeah, I mean, but she's hasn't she referenced Beyonce? Oh.
I honestly, until all this stuff came out, I didn't even think Beyonce was a part of that. She kind of keeps to herself, so I didn't think she was a part of that bullshit.
She keeps to herself, but that doesn't mean she ain't partake. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Not actually being directly involved, but knowing it's going down is just, it's almost the same. It's not the same, but it's just, I think it's just as bad.
Okay, as far as like reporting him,
If I saw a woman being sexually assaulted, I would report it.
here's the thing. So I actually went through and looked at the counts of like what he was actually being charged with. So count 1, he's being charged with racketeering, conspiracy, which includes sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, obstruction of justice.
Not the kidnapping, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
And so
I heard something about a 9-year-old boy. I'm like, oh my God.
and then count 2, he's being charged with sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. For victim 1, and then count 3, it's transportation to engage in prostitution. So what stood out for me is under the racketeering charge, they're saying that pretty much all his businesses, Combs Enterprises, which includes Bad Boy Records, and Combs Global, which does all his legal businesses, I guess you can say. The forced labor, the kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, I think that also plays in a factor. You don't know who is a victim of these crimes, that maybe they were inclined to maybe report something. So if I say, hey, if they're kidnapping people over here for attempting to do the right thing, maybe other people are less inclined.
Oh, yeah.
And you were talking about arson, so you set somebody's property on fire.
I mean, you are threatened. I'm sure he has threatened quite a few people, and there are people who say he was involved with, of course, Tupac's death, and also people who say that he's involved in Biggie's death. So,
yeah.
And do I think that could be true? I do.
Yeah.
I do. I definitely do.
Yeah.
I don't know what his motives might have been for his best friend, but I definitely don't put it past him, which is crazy.
Which Tupac did believe the first shooting when they were at the studio, that was orchestrated by Diddy.
I believe that. I totally believe that. I think like if you watch like we watch movies and TV shows and things and we're like, oh my God, never. But I do think people that are writing those shows and screenplays know that kind of shit happens.
Yeah. So yeah.
So let's because that kind of bleeds right into that movie Blink Twice, which I haven't seen and I do plan to watch it. But I heard, as far as the movie goes, they say that's pretty much based off of Hollywood and things that happen in Hollywood, because the movie is basically like about these two women that go to this island and they can slowly but surely start to feel like something's wrong. Like, what's going on? I'm waking up and I'm
missing days,
missing hours. Like, how did I get here? Type thing. I think it goes a lot deeper into what they're doing to those women, and I think it's a part of the movie, so I don't want to say. But yeah, I do think. And then somebody in Hollywood wrote that. Zoe Kravitz wrote that movie. The original name for that movie was supposed to be Pussy Island too. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think there's something to that. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein had a whole island. What were they doing there, honey?
Yeah.
Right. So I think there's a lot of truth to it, and I think anybody who's very interested in this Diddy case should watch the movie, because from what I understand, it's pretty much what they're saying that he was doing at these parties.
Yeah. And also when it comes to the sex trafficking, as far as how people get stuck in this, please understand that it's something that it's slow. Where someone,
yes, that's true. I think people misconstrue what sex trafficking actually is. It's not just getting kidnapped at the airport and being locked in a dungeon and people come and have sex with you. It's
not an episode of Taken. It's not the movie Taken. Most people
being coerced into doing sexual acts that you're really not comfortable with, and it's a slow process.
It's a slow process, and it's usually
somebody you know. And it could be your boyfriend.
It could be a romantic partner, a family member, whether it's a parent, a cousin, sibling, whatever. People are coerced into those things, which we've discussed this before in the podcast. Where Andrew Tate, he is in trouble for the exact same thing, and how he gets his girls is through romantic partners, coercing them into doing OnlyFans and webcam and becoming a cam girl through, if you love me, you'll do this, yada, 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 yada. And so it's the idea of being kidnapped from a Walmart shopping center or Target or whatever. That's not how that happens.
And let's go back and talk a little bit about Blink Twice. I mean, so these women go to this island willingly.
Yeah.
And I think people always say, well, it's different than R. Kelly with, Diddy, because all these women were of age, which I don't know if that's true, but
they weren't.
The biggest thing is that they're saying these are of age. They consented. They went to the parties. They were willing participants. Yes, they were, but I can be a willing participant and wanting to go hang out, like go to this party. It doesn't mean I want to have something in my drink. I don't want to be drugged.
Yeah.
That's not what I consented to.
Yeah.
Okay. That's almost like date rape. Like, that's not me consenting. You putting something in my drink, even though I was dancing with you all night, is not, it's not consent. Right. So I think people need to understand, from what I understand or what I've heard, is these women would go to this party and then would be
not women.
Oh, and men. It would be both.
Men, and also a lot of these girls were underage, so children.
But they were also of
some of them were adults, but majority of them were underage girls. Let's be honest.
I didn't know they said that.
Yes, a lot of them were underage girls, so they were young, 16, 17, around that age. So let's be clear.
At the white parties, though, those were
not
grown
Diddy.
Women.
We're talking about R. Kelly.
Oh, I'm talking about, I was just saying people would say it's different with R. Kelly because those women were underage, and Diddy was doing this with women.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, no.
It doesn't, honestly, it doesn't matter.
Those women were being drugged and given things that they weren't necessarily aware that they were taking.
Yeah.
They say that it was something in the oil, like in the
I don't
1,000.
think so.
Okay, so this is speculation, but they do say that in those 1,000 bottles of oil, there was some type of substance that made them susceptible to something. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it was fully, I'm sure it wasn't fully passing out, as Jillian has explained. Nothing can be absorbed into the bloodstream. Yeah. But it could have made you more relaxed, a little bit more. Oh, because there was like a court case where basically this man would take you to the house. It was crazy. It's kind of off topic, but he would massage women, and then so one woman, she was just like, oh, I'm ready. Oh, it was some celebrity. He said it was his cousin, and it was basically like, she said she was feeling weird because he was massaging her, and she said she started feeling weird. She said, I want to go home. So he let her go home, and then when she went to the doctor, apparently whatever he was rubbing on her skin was something that starts to break down the human skin for consumption.
Ew.
Right. So, and then when they ended up reporting him, he actually had multiple women's bodies in his home where he had been slowly eating them.
Oh my God.
Isn't that gross? Isn't that scary though for that girl? Like, you literally almost got ate.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like, that's breaking it down for consumption. I'm sure at some point he would have drugged them somehow to get them.
Yeah. So people were speculating that something was in the baby oil that was used to drug women. So the way it works with most drugs, you have to ingest it.
So that's what I'm saying.
It can't pass
you don't know
the
what
skin barrier.
You don't know what
to be able to drug somebody.
Okay.
Enough to drug someone. No.
Not to drug them. I'm not saying to have them pass out or forget, or it could be something else though.
So
to relax you,
to put something.
Isn't a eucalyptus something that relaxes you?
To make you pass out? No.
I didn't, but that's what I'm saying, Jillian. So, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that made them pass out.
So the oil...
It could be something that made them more susceptible.
So what I'm trying to explain is that if you put something in like an oil, the oil is not a carrier enough to be able to penetrate the skin barrier to be able to drug somebody, do anything. That's what I'm saying. Most when you're drugging someone, they're drugging something. No, it's not.
Maybe it wasn't just oil.
No, girl.
Acid breaks down skin.
Janice,
you don't know what was in it.
It's not. It's
but
not.
You don't know.
It's not.
But you don't know.
I don't know.
But you don't know.
The baby oil was not what was used to subdue women.
That's not what they said. It was something in it that they used to get to make women more comfortable. Maybe it made them a little less on guard, so they could slip something in their drink.
Okay, so nothing has to be in the baby oil for that to happen. When you're massaging, I'm more relaxed and kind of my guard's down, make me more comfortable. That has nothing to do with us. As far as saying
even
that there
certain things that you smell.
Janice, no.
There is aromatherapy.
Yes, aromatherapy.
So how do you believe in aromatherapy, but you don't believe that there's something that they could do to make you a different way?
Certain things can make you more relaxed, but not to lose consciousness to be able.
But
it's not like I'm not going to lose.
Be losing consciousness. It could be something.
I'm not going
that
to
just lubes you up.
No, I'm not going to be able to lose my alertness. So if I was in danger, I wouldn't be able to.
Not fully.
Janice.
Not fully.
We're not gonna.
You ever left a massage and you were like, "Oh my God, I'm just so relaxed."
You're relaxed. Your muscles are relaxed because if you have tension in your muscles, that's
exactly.
relaxed.
So now I combined like aromatherapy, whatever chemical. I rub you down.
No.
Now all of a sudden you're like.
So what we're not going to do is we're not going to spread.
You always tell me what I'm not going to do. Well, stop telling me what I'm not going to do on this podcast. I'm going to do whatever I want to do.
We're not going to spread ridiculous conspiracy theories.
First of all, it's not a conspiracy theory, Jillian.
It is.
Yes, you're making it seem, because I never said that what's in the baby oil made people pass out. I never
You're
said
saying there's other stuff other than oil in the oil.
There could have been. There could have been.
So there you go. We're not going to do that.
It's speculation.
Exactly. So we're not going to do that.
Everything we're talking about is speculation, Jillian.
So
because you don't know anything for a fact.
As far as that, no, we're not going to do that.
I just did it.
And we're not going to do that.
But we just did it. I just did it.
You just did it.
And all I'm saying is there is Jillian.
What I'm saying is
there is speculation. There was something in those bottles other than baby oil, and I can say that.
Okay, well, I'm speculating that that's bullshit.
Okay. That's fine.
I've chosen not to accept said conspiracy theory. I think it's bullshit.
I think it's crazy with the time and age that we're in today. Mm-hmm. There's a whole black market of shit that you have no idea what it can actually do. Okay. That you had just completely rejected as absolutely not, could never happen. That's impossible. At this point in this time, I don't think anything's impossible.
Here's the thing.
I don't think anything's impossible this time.
Until they show me evidence that happened, it's bullshit.
Well, then you should think that Diddy is the whole thing is bullshit because you don't have any evidence that he did any of that.
Janice, Now, come on now, for real.
Do you,
So the indictment and all those witnesses and the grand jury, all the evidence they heard when they decided an indictment, that's
not you being found guilty. You got to go to a court of law then.
True, but it's not a nothing burger. That's a nothing burger what you're chewing on as far as the stuff with the oil.
So it's never been in any of the documents saying that there could be something other than baby oil in that.
No.
Nowhere.
No.
I don't believe that.
You're just listening to people speculating online. It's not based in any actual facts of the case.
I don't find anything impossible in Hollywood.
Okay.
I really don't.
Okay.
I really don't.
If you wanna,
There's some shit. I mean, I heard that story. I didn't think there was something that can break down human skin for consumption, but here there was it. Right? So I don't put past anything to anyone. Okay. And I think with the black market, there's some shit out there. I have no idea what these things can do.
If you want to hold on to that conspiracy theory, go ahead. If that makes you feel better, great.
Jillian, you act like I'm saying it's fact.
Okay.
You're acting like I'm saying it's fact. I'm saying it could be true.
Okay.
And that's what I believe. It could be true.
Okay.
Okay.
If you think so.
I do.
Okay.
I already said it.
And I said okay.
But you miss, we ain't finna do that here. Excuse me? I didn't know that you were Janice and you were controlling my mouth.
Okay, you can say what you want, and I'm free to say what I want.
You were telling me I couldn't.
And what I'm saying is that
so you're changing your mind, changing your rhetoric. So I can say what I want.
Okay,
now.
you can say what you want.
Thank you.
And so
I appreciate it.
And my add-on is that it's a baseless conspiracy theory.
Okay.
There you go. All
right. Well, I appreciate you allowing me to have an opinion.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jillian Housen, judge and jury.
Her non-fact based opinion.
Here you go, and then you come at me trying to make it seem like my little opinion or the fact that I said it could be true is just so stupid. You're rude. You're rude.
Yeah.
You're so rude.
It's good fantasy writing, but it's entertaining.
Girl, if that ever comes out, there was something in that body oil, I want you to get on your knees and kiss my feet. Okay? Can you agree to that?
No, I'm not agreeing to that.
Why? You just said I'm so stupid for thinking that. So kiss my feet if it comes out that there's something in that.
All right.
So yeah, you would kiss my feet?
Okay.
If something came out? Okay.
You know I hate feet.
Deal. I'm going to follow this damn story.
Girl, that's such an evil laugh.
Yeah, exactly, because you need to learn. You need to learn how to let people have opinions. Okay?
Yeah.
Including it in politics, honey.
Yeah. No, I mean, I understand
you
opinion,
don't allow
but
people to have opinions.
Sometimes it's
something that differs from yours. You kind of like argue like those women on Potomac. You almost insult their intelligence when you don't think it's true.
No, it's not.
Which is, I do it too, so I can't really talk. So.
No, what I'm trying to point out is like we're fear mongering, and I don't feel that is what we should be doing. And I think the reason why that story is out there is in part fear mongering. We're trying to make people afraid for something that I feel is not a legit threat.
It is a threat when that story was true, that somebody putting stuff in body to break down skin. That's true.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying as far as specifically something in the baby oil, we're fear mongering, and I don't want to do that.
I'm just saying.
Okay. All right. So
I don't put nothing past Diddy. I really don't.
All right. So let's go ahead and give our final thoughts and wrap it up. Okay. So Janice, go ahead with your final thoughts.
No, you go. I probably want to speak on what you're gonna say. So go ahead.
Okay. So when it comes to Diddy, am I surprised that this indictment has come down? I think this has been coming for a very long time. Like I said, from last year with Cassie, her filing her lawsuit, we also discussed that there were criminal charges that were possibly coming based on the stuff that she said in her lawsuit. So we've known that for a while. Then with the raid and now with the arrest, he's currently being held without bail. I believe on some other podcasts with Joe Budden's podcast, a lot of people are saying that, and I don't like this, is that this is a manhunt. They're trying to take a black man down. No, they're trying to take a predator down. Yeah, what they're trying to do is take a predator off the street. Whether it's Diddy, whether it's Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey, what's the other producer guy?
Harvey
Weinstein, Bill Cosby. These are like legit predators who have been unchecked for years, have had countless
No
victims.
boundaries. No boundaries.
And so I feel these are people who are a threat to society and should not, if anyone deserves to spend the rest of their lives in jail, are these predators. And so I think when people show you who they are, believe them. And I think we've known for a while that Diddy has been a predator for a while. We've just chosen to ignore it because of his extraordinary talent and things that he has brought to the table. I'm not saying that he's not a great producer. He is. I don't say he doesn't have a sharp business mind and is able to motivate people and is very entertaining kind of person. But that cannot be the cost. The cost these women paid cannot be the cost of having that a part of our lives. Whatever product he's hawking at the moment or whatever entertainment he's shoving down our throats. Those women shouldn't have to pay that price to be able to enjoy those things. So I feel with him, I'm going to be interested. Unfortunately, because it is a federal case, we probably won't have like live in cameras inside the courtroom during the trial. But the feds, when it comes to the feds, it's very unfortunate. They have a pretty high conviction rate. So I don't see him
not going to prison
for the rest of his life. And I think for me, I think the part that really breaks my heart at the end of the day are his children. I really do feel like they want,
he did it.
He did it, but I'm sure, I don't, like I said, I don't know who he is as a father, but I think his adult children are definitely standing by him. And for them, they're going to have to reconcile the man that they know versus the person that he is around other people. So I think that's going to take a very long time for them to process that and mourn that loss. And for that, I will say that's where my sympathy lies with the victims and also with his children, because I think for them, especially the ones with Kim Porter, especially the ones with Kim Porter, they're essentially losing their only surviving parent. And so for that, I hope for them peace and comfort, and that they'll be fine in the future, because this is a lot of process all before the twin girls. I think they're not even 18 yet, so that's a lot to process. You're already going through puberty and you're dealing with coming into your adulthood, and then you're dealing with your mother's death, and now this, and there's a stain now on your family name. That's a lot to deal with. And so for that, I think that's where my sympathy lies, is with the victims and with his children. For that, I hope they'll find peace.
So for me, just to kind of touch on a few things you said, I mean, as far as Joe Budden saying it's a manhunt, I'm like, shit, hunt them all down. If it's a manhunt, it's a good manhunt. It's a manhunt to get predators off the street. I think it's been a long time coming, which Joe Budden's ass probably already knows. He's been in Hollywood long enough. He's probably seen quite a bit. And so for him to say something like that, I think is like just makes me look at him sideways for sure. Yeah. Like, okay, I don't understand what you like hunting down this black man did this. Yeah. So I don't want that black man out there, period. Exactly. I don't care if he's black, white, Asian, Indian. I don't want people out there like that. So yeah, Harvey Weinstein too, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, go to prison. You can't do those type of things. And I think with Diddy, like having another high profile, I mean, because before that it was Jeffrey Epstein. Was it a manhunt then for him? Yeah. To me, it's the same. So yeah, these people need to, I think it's just a crackdown now. Like in the 90s and the early 2000s, it was acceptable. It's no longer acceptable. And thank God for that. Right. Yeah. That's how I feel about it with that. And as far as like his kids, like, I think any child that has a predator as a parent is going like with support, with money, just depends on what you have after that parent's gone or that person's gone. But a child of a predator is a child of a predator. So yeah, I feel horrible for those kids, but yeah, I mean, but I think they'll be okay. Yeah, with with counseling, with support. I'm sure they have a support system in their life. So, yeah, I'm hoping that they do find peace, but I still hope that we get justice. So, and I do think justice will come when it comes to Diddy. I think it's crazy. I think it's still shocking a little bit for people that this is happening. I mean, for me, it is a little bit still. That he's really gonna pay consequences for his actions. Like, and a part of me is still like, he might get off. Like, still a part of me is still like that, because money speaks volumes in this world. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But you know, let's wait and see. And I think, you know, as everything unfolds, we'll continue to cover it and talk about it. I'm definitely interested to hear what Michael has to say, so we'll have to revisit it once he returns. But yeah, I'm so ready for people who do these type of things to pay the consequences. I'm ready for it. And hopefully the more high profile people pay consequences for these type of actions, it will deter people from doing these type of things. Hopefully.
Or if maybe not a deterrence, but hopefully this will encourage victims to step forward as well.
Yeah, there you go. I think that too. So that's what I'm hoping out of it all. You know, I've been hearing about Diddy for years. Screw Diddy. Let him have it. And to be fair, like, the people who were involved with him heavy, I think they definitely should be next. So that's how I feel about it.
We'll see what happens.
And I think Jay-Z's going to be one of them. So.
Okay.
I do.
We'll see what happens. We will continue to discuss this as the trial goes on, and any updates that we get. We'll definitely discuss it once a verdict is handed down. We'll definitely discuss it again in depth as well once we get more information. Once, like I said, we know that there are not going to be any cameras in, because I believe federal courthouses don't have cameras inside. But we usually will get a recap of each court date. I think that's how that works with federal cases. So we'll see what happens. I don't think this is a trial of the century, but we'll see what happens. We see whether their names are dropped, or he may stay completely quiet for his own safety, maybe, because maybe if the people are powerful enough, he doesn't want to get Epstein, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, but we thought it was an important subject to dive into, because it is such a high profile case. So yeah,
absolutely. Well, we'll go ahead and get out of here. We'll see you guys next week.
Talk to you guys next week. Bye. And that's a wrap on the latest episode of Let Me Finish. Thank you guys for joining us for another week and listening to the latest episode. Don't forget, go like, share, and subscribe on your favorite platforms. And you guys can also follow us and see us on different platforms. I am on Instagram, and that's going to be Uniquely Janice. And then I'll also be on TikTok, Janice H, GENICEH. Michael, where can they find you?
I'm only on Instagram, and it's Kasra Salimi. And by Kasra Salimi, I mean Kasra Writes, because I changed it and I just forgot. So it's KASRA Writes, WRITES.
Yes. Jillian, where can we find you?
Instagram as well, and it's New Jillian Who Dis.
New Jillian Who Dis. All right, well, we will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.